Okay, I thought I'd run through just a few questions from the practice quiz. So this says point B is a point of tangency, find the radius. So it wants me to find out what r is equal to. So remember, if this is point of that means that's a tangent line. That means it's a right angle, so we got really a right triangle here. So set up your Pythagorean theorem. So this is the hypotenuse, that's r plus 6. So it's r plus 6 squared is equal to r squared, the other side, plus 9 squared. Remember, when you multiply this out, either you have to go r plus 6 times r plus 6 and multiply it all the way out, or the shortcut is you square the first one, you times them together and times by 2, so 6r times 2 is 12r, and you square the last one. Or you can also get that up here just by distributing. Okay, finish solving this, so you can minus r squared from both sides. Now we can minus the 36 over, so you get 12r is equal to 81 minus 36. Subtract those two. Let's see, 81 minus 36 is 45. So 12r equals 45. Divide both sides, 12r, sorry, divide both sides by 12. Okay, and that's going to be your radius right there. Down here, if you have a point outside the circle and two tangent segments, they're always congruent. So you would just set those two equal to each other. You would solve that equation from there. Let's clear that. And scroll down here a little bit. Hey, number 3, that is, it wants us to find the measure of arc RS. So RS is over here. If this is 42, we know this is 42. Well, let's do this. These two have to add up to be 180. They're supplementary. So if I go 180 minus 42, that's what, 138? So that angle right there is 138. That's a central angle, so the arc is equal to the same measure. So it would be 138. QRS, well, that's a diameter, so that has to be 180. QST, so all the way around there. Well, this one has to be, those are vertical angles, so this one has to be 42. So if I go 180 plus 42, that'd give me that one. And then QT, I can go 360 minus whatever that is to figure out what that one's equal to. Looking at number 4, find the value of x. Just remember, if you have a diameter that is perpendicular, it bisects the chord and the arc. So in this case, we know that those have to be equal, so you can just set those equal to each other and solve that. Number 4, if you have two chords, or number 5, excuse me, if you have two chords that are equal distance from the center, those are both 5, that means the chords have to be equal. So that means that the length of that chord has to be equal to the length of that chord. So you'd set those equal and solve them. Hey, all the rest of the questions are factoring, review stuff. So this first one is not factoring. There's a question on this that I got. Which expression represents the 5th root of negative 21 to the 6th power? Just remember, you go negative 21, and the 6 goes on top, the 5 goes on the bottom. So the index is always on the bottom, the power is always on top. So it's going to be, that first one right there. 7 is just the reverse, right? So write it in radical form. The 2 goes in there. Make sure you put it as the index. The 9 goes there. And you can either put the 5 there, or you can put the 5 here. Also, just to remember, whoops, sorry, not there. That's 9. But you can put the 5th power on the outside. Just remember, you don't have to put that there, right? That's the same thing as the square root of 9 to the 5th. Right? You don't have to put the index of 2. It means the square root. 8, 9, and 10, those 3 are all just factoring, which we reviewed before the break there. Right? This one, you take the factors of 30 to add up to be 11. Make your list. A factor form is going to be like this. S, but 5 and 6. So plus 5, plus 6. This one's got the 3 in front, which makes it a little bit harder. So we go 3H and H. Then we take the factors of 6, 1 and 6, 2 and 3. Just remember, you can't find the one, this one you can't tell which one's going to work ahead of time, so you just plug it in there. I think this would be plus 2 and plus 3, and the way you check it is you multiply the outside 2, that's 9h. The inside 2 is 2h, you add them together and you get 11h. So there's my factored form. 10 is the difference of squares, right? I've got z squared minus 9 squared. So it always factors to be z minus 3 times z plus 3. Okay, that's just a pattern you got to recognize for difference of squares. Okay, those first two, 8 and 9, you can also do the x method. Right? If you had Hilliard or Hall, I think they'd both do the x method, and you could factor them that way too. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Just a couple of hints that'll help you on the quiz. No assignment. Just make sure you get the quizzes done, and we'll go Monday, Tuesday, and then have spring break. Thanks, guys.